Good morning and welcome to Frank's School. This is the 86th day of the 7th year first video. And in a sense, I'm going to make a pause. It's going to seem like a pause. I'm going to call this protests and a dry spell. Why I say pause is because I've been coming along sort of debriefing myself over the visit from the four people from Hong Kong, father and two sons. I'm not done by any means. But I have sort of come to the end of the academic part of that. One thing I wanted to say, though, I mentioned discipline back then. Henry David Thoreau was a teacher briefly, one-room schoolhouse, and I remember a story about him and his approach to discipline. It wasn't that much different, I guess, maybe from mine. He had been instructed by the school board, little local school board, that he was to use the rod, to be more strict with his discipline, and he, according to the story, he singled a kid out that was particularly bad and gave him a beating and quit right there. That was, he wasn't going to teach if you had to beat kids to get them to learn. Anyway, my eye, you may notice, I've got a very bloodshot eye. I could probably going to church later today, I'd maybe do a mercy if I'd wear a patch because people wouldn't have to see that. It doesn't really bother me that much, but it has to do with this. I'll say later. My apologies. Another thing, the camera seems to be getting bright and dark to some extent in the last video. That may be a sign that my camera may be dying. I may have to get another one. I don't know. Anyway, I say this is sort of a pause. The outdoor work that the Hong Kongers helped me with was very much related to water, and I certainly want to show you what they helped me do, but I don't really want to show it to you when it can't be related to water. And we've got a pretty major dry spell going on here. It's not a drought yet, but it's a dry spell, and so I want to wait on that. Now, we haven't had a dry spell like this in probably certainly 2 years, maybe more. And I'd often thought that if, with the climate change, if our fate is to be much wetter than usual, which is the way it's been for 2 years, that's better than too dry. It's one of the reasons, in a sense, I've almost forgotten about what it's like when it gets too dry. But we're being reminded now. And it has to do with this. All right, and another thing. So anyway, that's one of the reasons I'm pausing until we get a lot of rain again, or rain enough that the water's flowing in this area again. I'm probably not going to be showing you what we did outside. All right, now this is almost just for my record. I have realized in those last videos that over the winter or the future here, in academic terms, I want to make an annotated list of supporting videos that I've used, that because of the Hong Kongers and going through the videotapes that still work. I also want to make an annotated list of ALP-related videos. I have a friend that I haven't mentioned her name recently, but a very, very close friend, Shirley Hockling, German woman who she copied and sent to me many videos because she knew that I was interested in Germany and Switzerland and the Alps, and these were available there on television all the time in Europe, but not here, and I have them. And so at some point I want to go through them too, which I think will relieve her, because she put a lot of work in doing that for me, and I haven't even had time to watch them all. So I'll probably be doing that too. That'll be like armchair traveling in a way, which may be the future of any traveling I do. Competitive sentence diagramming rule book. Yes, I'm going to do something along those lines. I'm going to resume my book of building folk huts with pallets, although that book is largely finished. I mostly have to just try to find a way to get it published one way or another. And I think I'm going to make a guide to Frank's School. As I say, this is the 7th year, 86th video. There are well over 2,000 videos. And I think I should probably actually do some kind of a guide, maybe even put it in print, to show people what is here, what is all this stuff. All right, now moving to this stuff, the protesting. Well, I protested last Friday. I went into Bedford and I sat all by myself in front of the courthouse, and I braided. And I did it. Why did I do it? Well, in a sense, I did it because Greta Thunberg told me to. You know, it was part of the Schools for Friday strike. And I probably will do it again this coming Friday. And I'll have more to say about that protest. That's not the only protesting that's going on right now. But I don't want to get into that right now. I think I want to reserve a video for that. And then finally, swamp building. Well, this dry spell is extreme enough that I'll go into it in more detail later. But there's 3 surface sources of water on this farm, and 2 of them have essentially dried up. I'm left with 1, but that one is a very strong one, and I am in the process of I've never seen the 3rd one fail. If it fails, we're in some trouble here. But anyway, I sort of decided to take action beforehand and not let water just run away. And so in effect I'm building a swamp, thinking that, well, swamp water is better than no water. I have to carry water now to several of my animals. You know, a lot of my animals are old and crippled. This is kind of like an old folks home for animals, and so I maybe wouldn't have to, but I am. So I'm involved in swamp building. And back to the eye now. Now and then I think about Teddy Roosevelt's book Through the Brazilian Wilderness. When I'm in the thick of the weeds and the high weeds and stuff, a stick or a twig or something slapped me in the eye. That's how I got such a bloodshot eye. All right, well, enough for now.